What a dreary day today has been. It rained all day today. It's not been an easy day. It's been a hard day today. Just work was rough, and we have to implement some new things due to COVID, and it's just been tough. It looks pretty out here right now. None of the animals are out. They're all hiding because of the weather. We've had severe thunderstorms since last night sometime. I didn't have power at home for a little while, but it came back fairly quickly, and then out here at the office I didn't have power for about an hour and a half this morning, and I have it back now. So, I've had it all day, but we're due to have another round of these storms tonight, so who knows what will happen. I wanted to do another little vlog because I also get asked, is there something I do to keep from constantly hearing or seeing energies or spirits or ghosts, whatever you want to call them, around me? And my answer to that is yes, there is something I do. I set my boundaries. And by that I mean I tell them when I need time to renew myself, or reground myself, or refocus, or get rid of whatever energy was there before, from dealing with one person or the other person or whatever. And so I set my limits and my boundaries. I can't, constantly have energy after energy after energy coming to me or being influxed, because it will definitely drain you, give you headaches, it can make you sick. There's a lot of things. Anybody who deals with energy on a basis of where you interact with that, you can have some major health issues if you're not careful. You have to learn how to set your limits and your boundaries, and know when you need to back off and when you need to have that space and when you need to shut down. And that's not always an easy thing, because so often you want to help as many people or as many of those spirits as you can, and unfortunately you can't help everybody. It's really sad, but you can't. And there are times when you have to take a break for your own health reasons. There are times when there's certain energies that you just do not want to interact with because they're so negative or so angry or so filled with rage or whatever it might be, that you just can't interact with that energy. You have to back off and walk away. And there are other energies that don't want you to know who they are. And so when you do encounter those type of energies, those are the energies that can truly be problematic, because if they see you or your energy aura, whatever you want to call it, and they know that you know who they are, then they can attack you psychically. And by that I mean they can drain your energy. They can try to jump you, and jump you I mean trying to take over you so that they can speak. Or they'll do this thing where they'll try to take on the energy of another entity that's there and bombard you with all of that emotion and overwhelm you to the point where you just become physically sick. You don't eat, you get severe headaches, you won't sleep, or you'll become very lethargic and depressed. So there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration when you're dealing with any type of energy form like that. I'm by no means an expert at it. I'm just telling you from my own experience what's happened in my life. And, I get asked a lot, what do you use, around yourself? Well, white sage bundles, which burn a lot. I use frankincense, myrrh, dragon's blood, lavender, rose, a whole bunch of other incense and scents are used. I use crystals, I use stones, I used a pendulum, I use a lot of things, but mostly if I'm connecting with an energy, I mostly am using myself plus a pendulum, and I may have my crystals or stones out, and sometimes I'll throw those crystals or stones just for confirmation. And by that I mean I have a set group of crystals or stones that I use, and if I want a definitive answer one way or the other, I'll take that group of stones and I'll throw them out in front of me, and depending upon whether they go out straight, to my right, or to my left, will determine the answer. If they roll out straight in front of me, that's a yes. To my right is a no, and to my left is an I don't know or I can't answer. So there's a lot of things that I use. I do not use a Ouija board. I never have. I've had a bad experience with someone that used that in the past, and they let something through that they shouldn't have. So in that respect, I don't use a board per se. I use my pendulum, which is in a sense like using a spirit board or a talking board or whatever you want to call it. I like listening to ghost boxes because a lot of the times the energy that's there in front of me is speaking to you guys through that ghost box. And sometimes they just need a little help in getting you to understand exactly what they're trying to say, because oftentimes you don't fully hear everything they're saying. And that's because there are a lot of other energies of spirits, ghosts, whatever you want to call them, coming through. But the one thing I want to insert right here is that when you're dealing with spirits or energies, you need to be mindful and respectful, of them. Because just like you want to be respected and you want to be treated with that same kind of decency and kindness and compassion and understanding, so do they. So please don't go into it thinking it's a big game, because it's not a game. None of this is a game. It's real. It's as real as me sitting here talking to you right now. So don't ever think that anything you do paranormally is a joke or a game or should be done to garner yourself notoriety or fame or a label or anything like that, because as soon as you do that, they're going to stop speaking to you, or you're going to get wrong answers, or you're going to get falsified information, or you're going to interpret stuff wrong, and that's where you have problems. I don't label myself. I don't put any kind of a name or a label to me or to my person or anything like that. I simply am someone that has a gift, and that's as much as I say about any of it. It's not an easy thing, but it is what it is, and you just, you have to learn when you have a gift how to utilize that gift in a way that doesn't harm you, harm those energies or spirits that you're dealing with, or the living people that you're dealing with. Because that's one of the things that can happen and often does happen, is you end up doing more harm when you think this is a game, or when you are trying to feed someone information just to feed them the information they want to hear. You harm them more than you help them. And I've seen that happen far too many times. And for a long time, I stopped doing anything. I stopped doing any kind of connections or readings or giving of information at all. And, there are very few that I have done readings for since, I went through what I went through. And, I guess I should get back to doing them more. But, it's taken me a long time just to get back to this point where I even want to be around and, share information. So I'm taking things one day at a time, a little bit at a time, and we'll see how that goes. But I'll try to share the things that I know with you guys. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I posted on my website, about some of the stuff I went through and how I was feeling and things like that. And, I guess if I could tell you anything, it would simply be just take your time, find out as much information as you can, about the paranormal before you delve in, before you delve into the paranormal. And don't take it lightly or take it as a joke, because when you do that, that's when you're going to get hurt, or you're going to end up encountering something that you shouldn't, or that you don't want to, or that you can't get rid of. And there's a lot of folks out there that will attest to that. They've dealt with it. But I wanted to thank you guys for riding along with me again, for, listening and watching the videos. It means a lot that y'all are doing that. And eventually maybe I'll get up there above the 240 mark, but if not, it's okay. I'm just happy doing what I'm doing, the little bit that I am doing. And, sharing what I'm sharing, and maybe somebody will learn something from it, or get something from it, or be encouraged to step out into their own abilities and gifts. And I can't tell you what when that will happen for you, because everybody's different. Everybody comes into their own abilities and gifts in their own time, in their own way, if they're open to it and they want to accept it. You can't, unfortunately, it's one of those things that if you're not open to it and not willing to accept it, then it's not going to be prominent in your life. I will tell you that, I come from a long line of women who were always very intuitive, or had the ability to know things well before they happened. One of my grandmothers was Cherokee, and the other one grew up in the hills or the mountains, and so she was very much into holistic things, and some would call her a white witch, if you will, you know, making her own potions and salves and ointments and gathering her own herbs and things of that nature. So I come from a very long line of that, which is probably part of the reason why I've kind of got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you know, ability. Look at the big tree. Aren't they pretty? Anyways, look at the nasty sky. See it? Yuck. That's what I've been dealing with. It was worse last night and worse earlier this morning, but right now it's just gray and gloomy and overcast. But anyways, I'm going to end this now because I'm nearly to my house and I need to get myself together so that I can go in and get dinner done. But anyways, I love you guys. Thanks for watching the video.